Action!
We, the people of the United States, in order to form
A more perfect union.
Establish justice.
and ensure domestic tranquility,
Provide for the common defense.
promote the general welfare,
And secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity.
do ordain and
Establish this Constitution.
for the United States.
of America!
Hey, I'm Jacob Wood.
Katie Strawinski.
Vita Duffy,
Joseph Valencia.
Sadie Albritton,
Spencer Colsack.
Bethany Carter.
Olga Zabashko.
Carice Hamlet.
Jory Cohen. I'm Haley Moak.
I won Best High School Song, and I am from California.
I won Best Short Film, and I'm from Georgia.
I'm from Wisconsin. I won Best Artwork, and this is the Great Lakes Superior.
I won Best Song Middle School. I'm from Colorado.
I'm from Alabama. I won Best Emblem for Elementary School.
I'm from New York, and I won Best Public Service Announcement with my best friend Carice.
I'm from New York too, and I won Best Public Service Announcement with my best friend Olga.
I'm from Illinois, and I won Best Essay for Middle School.
I won the high school essay contest, and I am from Alabama.
I won Best Poem for grades 3rd through 6th elementary school. I'm from Arizona.
I won Best Poem. Colorado!
Welcome to Constituting.
America's
We the people.
917.
contest road trip.
Across America.
Yay!
We are today's
Cultural patriots.
Tomorrow's
Heroic leaders. Are you? Yay!
Come visit
My state.
and see our work. For we are the people.
And the Constitution.
Again on 9/17.
That's September 17th.
1787.
But we live its principles
Today.
Yay!
Hi, I'm Janine Turner.
And I'm Kathy Gillespie.
We are co-chairs of Constituting America.
Welcome to our fun-filled documentary.
You are the future of our country.
Did you know that?
Hi, I'm Juliet Turner. I'm the National Youth Director for Constituting America. As future leaders of our country, do you know what your roadmap is? Your guide? It's the United States Constitution. And I know what you're thinking. What's that? Right, the Constitution is just some old document that was written by some guys in tights and wigs. And how is that relevant to me today? Constituting America's winners 2010 are going to tell you how.
Hey, I'm Jacob Wood. I'm 17 years old. I won Best High School Song, and I am from California.
California facts!
Did you know we have 53 U.S. representatives from the state of California? California became one of the United States in 1850. The California motto is
Eureka!
And that means I have found it. My state population is a little over 36 million. I'm Jacob, and these are my parents, Ken and Dawn Wood.
It is so important to the foundation of the country and what's helped to keep it such a prosperous and strong country for all these years.
We are so blessed here. We're so free to believe what we want to believe, and our nation was founded one nation under God. I think that's a really key point. But yet, even if you don't believe that, you're not persecuted for it. And I think that right there just shows what a beautiful nation it is, that we would never force our beliefs upon any one person. So whether we know it or not, I hope that we would all come to realize just how truly blessed we are to live in such a wonderful, beautiful nation and never take it for granted.
Did you know that the Constitution was signed by 39 brave men on September 17, 1787?
That's why Congress passed a law that September 17th is Constitution Day.
The Founding Fathers gave us a plan to govern in the Constitution. We have 3 branches of government. Article 1 of the Constitution defines one of these branches, the legislative branch. This branch has the United States Senate and the United States House of Representatives. They legislate.
That means they create the laws based on the needs of the people. Do you know how many representatives there are in the U.S. House of Representatives?
435.
Do you know how many senators there are in the United States Senate?
100, 2 from each state.
Good job!
Action.
We the people of the United liberty. Provide for the common defense. Promote the general welfare. And secure the blessings of liberty. To ordain and establish this Constitution. These precious words are what form this glorious nation, and are the flesh and bones of our dreams. These laws, rules, and commitments are what keep America free, and that's what the Constitution means to me. As the people of the United States, it is our duty to make things straight and rise. Fought it all to save the land of the free, to help us along the way. This foundation that was laid paves the way, the path for liberty, and provides a chance for you and me. These precious words are what form this glorious nation, and are the flesh and bones of our dreams. These laws, rules, and commitments are what keep America free. Yeah, that's what the Constitution means to me. I'm free to laugh, I'm free to sing, I'm free to live the life I believe. I'm free to stand, I'm free to speak, I'm free to fight for what I believe. These precious words are what form this glorious nation, and are the flesh and bones of our dreams. These laws, rules, and commitments are what keep America free, and that's what the Constitution means to me.
His voice is fantastic. And he wrote the song.
And what a great guitar player. That's why he is
The
winner for Constituting America.
I'm Haley Moe. I'm 7 years old. I won Best Poem. I'm from Colorado.
And
Colorado facts. Colorado entered the Union in 1876. The Senate nominated. It means nothing without God. Yay! Yay! This is Linda, and she's my nanny, and I just spend most of the time with her.
Back on what they accomplished, what our founding fathers accomplished, it just bowls me over, because at that time of the Revolution, there were the states wanted to preserve their original rights, and they had just fought this horrific war, and to try to get knitted together 13 colonies to come about and have some kind of agreement for a federal government that would be a good federal government but not be too powerful. It's just amazing to me that these men got their heads together. I'm sure there's some women involved too. These men got their heads together and got a document that has worked for over 200 years, and just the freedoms that were guaranteed.
This is the Statue of Liberty. My teacher, Miss Richardson, has taught me many things in school.
As teachers, of course, our ultimate goal is for our students to grow up and be wonderful Americans and adults. And this contest provides children an opportunity to express their views on our wonderful country and our Constitution, which helps our country be the wonderful place it is to live.
Before America had even begun in Boston Harbor, tea was flung, Patriots wanted to be free and bring this land sweet liberty. The men who wrote our Constitution gave us more than revolution. They gave me rights, so I have might. No one can take away what I enjoy today. Because I live in a land of the free, I can grow up to be me. In sleep he sang, to me in dreams he came. That voice which calls to me and speaks my name. And do I dream again? For once is right. The phantom of the opera is there inside my mind.
I am Bethany Carter, and I am 17 years old. I won the high school essay contest, and I am from Alabama. Alabama facts! Alabama's motto is, Audamus Jura Nostra Defendere. We dare defend our rights. Alabama's population is approximately 4.5 million.
My two parents, Mark and Sandy Carter.
We wanted to stress to our kids at an early age the meaning of the Constitution, the lives that were paid for the Constitution, and you know, we didn't know if the children would grasp that or not, but in watching Bethany and her siblings grow up, we can see it has made an impact on them, and we feel passionate about that because they're the future, and what we pass along to them is what goes into the future.
It was at my school that I received my first pocket Constitution and received the inspiration for my essay.
This is my principal and teacher, Mrs. Melissa Bell.
The Constitution is so beautifully simple. Anyone can read it and understand what it means. But the interpretations of it are thousands of pages long, and the laws that are passed by our legislature are so long and complicated no one can understand what they mean. Really, all our children need to know is the Constitution and the basic amendments to the Constitution to understand what their rights are and how those rights should be protected by the other agencies of government.
Did you know that Article 2 of the Constitution is about the second branch of government? The second branch of the government is the executive branch. This is the branch of the president. The president signs all the bills that the House and Senate create, and they become law.
And then the president is responsible for executing these laws, which means he is responsible for making sure these laws are obeyed.
But the president can also veto a bill.
That means he can prevent the bill from becoming a law.
However, guess what? The House and Senate can make the bill a law anyway, as long as they pass it again in the House and the Senate with a 2/3 majority.
Checks and balances.
This keeps any one person or branch from getting too much power.
To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Why the Constitution is relevant today. It's strange how we often remember things best when we attach humor or irregularity to something. The teacher, attempting to pull us out of our somber drowsiness, asked us a non-rhetorical question. Why do minerals bond in crystal structures in order to form a more perfect union? Now, of course, every time I think about the Constitution, I think about minerals, and vice versa. It revealed to me a new way of understanding the Constitution. Images and analogies made their way into my mind, reaffirming and expanding my understanding of our nation's defining document. I began to realize that the Constitution's two basic principles were part of an indissoluble bond of freedom. Break that bond and all structure is lost. Like the laws of science, the laws of human nature never change. And because of this, the Constitution is as relevant today as it was when it was written. The Constitution is relevant to this generation because it ensures all of us the rights and liberties we wish to have, while maintaining the limits on power they require. To alter its two key principles of human fallibility and limited government would be to go against the laws of nature and ultimately suffer corruption and collapse, as did Rome, the Soviet Union, and countless others. It is essential that we Americans, and particularly this generation, learn to distinguish between the universals and the particulars of the Constitution, educate ourselves in its foundations, and defend it. The laws of liberty, government, and human nature are likewise as unchangeable as the laws of science. The Constitution is the nucleus around which freedom revolves, creating what the Founding Fathers called a more perfect union.
That's great! Thank you. What a beautiful essay. Congratulations very much. We have a t-shirt for you.
This is awesome.
Yay, turn around. And on the back,
Winner!
yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job.
I'm Jory Cohen. I won Best Poem for grades 3rd through 6th elementary school. I'm from Arizona.
Arizona facts!
Arizona has 8 U.S. representatives. Arizona was the 48th state to enter the Union on February 14, 1912. Arizona's state motto is Beati Jus, which means God enriches. Arizona's population is around 5.9 million. This is my mom, Sherry, and this is my dad, Ed.
Well, the Constitution means to me that it was an extraordinary effort by an extraordinary group of people to provide a framework for human beings to enjoy the greatest degree of equality amongst themselves and freedom to unlock their full human potential. And that's really provided the framework for our country's greatest strengths and why we've been a world leader for over 200 years. And
This is Mrs. Arnold, my favorite writing teacher.
It's important for children to learn about the Constitution because, first of all, if children don't know where we've been, they won't know where we're going. So they have to know the history of this country. They have to know what the people did to put it together, and they have to know what makes this country work. We, the people, that says it all. And I think if they don't understand that, then they can't be the productive citizens that we need them to be.
The Constitution is our essence of being. I mean, it just makes your heart swell with pride that you know that you're an American. And we want to instill that in children to go to this school. And they need to understand what it is.
3 cheers for the red, white, and blue. Hip, hip, hooray! 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue. Hip, hip, hooray! The flag of America forever. 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
What does the Constitution mean to me? Our country is once again tied together. You can be who you want to be. There is no need to hide in fear. You can open up to the world. Each and every word is written down for a reason. Each and every person signed their name for a reason. Now you are equal, women are equal, colors are equal, religions are equal. You can walk where you want, sit where you want, and eat where you want. The Constitution is the answer.
That's great! Congratulations! Thank you with a Constituting America shirt. And look, in the back says winner! She's the winner! Yay! We loved your poem. Congratulations. So great.
Hi, I'm Katie Strowinski. I'm 16. I won Best Short Film, and I'm from Georgia. Georgia facts! Georgia has 13 U.S. representatives. Georgia became a state in 1788. Georgia's motto is wisdom, justice, and moderation. Georgia's population is approximately 9 million.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? These broad stripes and bright stars through the...
This is Mr. Whitehurst. He is my world history teacher, my honors world history teacher.
The Constitution for me, as a history teacher, as an American, is one of those chief documents that really serves to unify us, that it lets us know that no man is truly above another man in the eyes of the law, that the law is above all things, that no man, no woman is above the law. And it's important as Americans to to be able to remember what the law actually says, what the Constitution says, the rights that it guarantees to us. Because if we're not aware when they're taken away from us. And also in teaching U.S. history, teaching that those freedoms were not free to us. They didn't come as just out of the sky. That people had to fight for them, they had to argue about them, and they had to sacrifice a lot to make those happen. And every generation has to struggle through defending, I think, the Constitution and the principles of the Constitution.
This is Susan Riley. She is my cross-country coach.
Constitution means to me the ability to live where I do, to be able to work at this school, to have a job as a woman, to be paid and to be independent, and to worship the way that my family chooses to worship.
Did you know that the legislative, executive, and judicial branches are like the branches of a tree?
I never thought of it like that.
But we, the people, are the roots.
A tree cannot survive without roots.
Yes, that's correct. The government cannot survive without the people. The people are the roots of the tree. The roots need water and nutrients. And what are the vitamins, minerals, and water for the roots?
The United States Constitution.
Yes!
The Constitution of the United States of America. We the people of the
executive
United
power
States,
shall be
in
vested
order
in
to
a
form a
president
more perfect
of the
union,
United
establish
States of America
justice,
shall be
ensure
chosen
domestic
from
peace,
every
have
second
shall
community,
government
and the people who serve the citizens and shall have the qualification necessary.
But that was written over 200 years ago.
Is it still relevant?
The world today is very different than that of our founding fathers.
Not really. The country was founded on people, not words, and people haven't changed.
True, but the words outlining our American way of life have changed. They always are.
But they've remained fundamentally the same throughout the years.
But the thing is, no one even knows the Constitution anymore.
Wait, which Constitution? It's basically saying that we're a united nation. It's like rights given to citizens and stuff so that they can live more freely. Constitution is what makes America America.
I think it's a set of rules that they set out for our country, like after we were separate from Britain.
Constitution is American way
To lay down the law, you know, for us Americans.
It is written by the founders of our country, known as our founding fathers, and it is to mark the freedom that we had from the British. I can't remember it all, but it states that we are free.
The U.S. Constitution begins, let me think.
It begins by saying, this is the Constitution.
Oh, in something. I know that. That's all I know.
Hey! Congratulations! We loved your short film. Short film! Here's a t-shirt. To the back? It says winner! Congratulations!
I'm Avita Duffy, and I'm 10 years old. I won Best Artwork. I'm from Wisconsin. Wisconsin facts! Wisconsin has 8 U.S. representatives. Wisconsin became a state in 1848. Wisconsin's motto is forward. Wisconsin's population is 5.5 million. This is my dad, and this is my mom.
Our kids are a part of all of our conversations. We sit around every night, at least when I'm home and on the campaign trail, having conversations like this, and they pick up those concepts, they ask questions, and they want to know, and they throw their ideas in, and we'll have little family debates about current events, and it often revolves around what's happening with regard to government and our Constitution. So I think I think our beliefs in regard to what is great about America come back to our Constitution, and it's a Constitution that has put American government in a box. And I think our founders did a very nice job of making sure that government doesn't grow and expand too much, and the Constitution puts that government in that box and keeps it there.
This is Tina, and she lives behind our house.
The Constitution, to me, has taken on new meaning in the past few years. I'm probably like many other Americans that just took it for granted and just assumed that we will always abide by it, it will always be with us. And just in the past few years, I've realized that we have to fight more for our beliefs here and for what it means.
Did you know that Article 3 describes the third branch of the government? It is the judicial branch. This is the branch of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's job is to interpret the laws and to make sure that the laws are abiding by the United States Constitution. Do Supreme Court justices have to be born in the United States like the president?
Yes.
No.
I have one for you. Do Supreme Court justices have to be a lawyer?
Yes.
No.
Do Supreme Court justices have to be a certain age?
Let me guess. No.
Correct. The answer is no. Few people know what you just learned about Supreme Court justices. At last minute, I decided blue because I think it blends in it. It just looks better than all the other colors I tried in my drafts. And down here, I read a book about George Washington, and I got the background colors from there. And the suns here are kind of to show to get kind of funny and funky, kind of just something besides the founding fathers, like just a little extra thing I put in there. I like to do that. And basically this is what log rolling looks like: water everywhere and the logs running really fast. If you can see the lines there, make it to see if it's going really fast. And and then there I'm drawing the background here of this farm. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Joseph Valencia. I'm 13 years old and I won the best song for the middle school. I'm from Colorado. Colorado facts! Colorado has 7 U.S. representatives. Colorado's population is approximately 4.6 million people. Hello, this is my mom, Cynthia, and this is my dad, Reg.
While we might be experiencing, some hard times or some rough patches right now, that's what America's about. That's what our founding documents are about, that if we focus on the how and the why and the strength of this country, we can still continue and be as strong now as we were when we physically fought for our freedoms.
Well, so I met Joseph. Joseph was just a baby. The United States is blessed with many natural resources. Our people, our natural mineral resources, but the most important resource is our Constitution. Think about it for a second. There's a lot of countries that have the same resources we do, and those countries, many of them struggle under tyranny, right? There's people trying to get out of those countries. And as much hoopla as you hear some people say about how the world hates us, I don't believe that. Do you know why? Because everybody wants to come here. As much as they say they hate the United States, they really don't, because everybody wants to come here. And our most valuable asset that we have, besides our faith in God, is the Constitution that's built on the belief in that God, right? Nature's God.
fathers meant it to be. Our Constitution will protect liberty. It gives me the right to speak, to pray, and to be free. This aged document means a lot to me. It's 'cause we think we understand it. Doesn't mean we should take it for granted. If we keep going at this way, we're gonna lose it, lose it. We're gonna want it back again. Oh, oh. We've got our rights and we'll always have them too. Only the Constitution guards your rights for you. Of the people, by the people, for the people, hey. The greatest government is the democratic way. The general, you don't know I'm here. The common defense, you put it together and it all makes sense. Look down, you could. It's 'cause we think we understand it. Doesn't mean we should take it for granted. If we keep going at this rate, we're gonna lose it. If we lose it, we're gonna want it back again. Oh, oh.
Fantastic job!
Thank you.
Wow, you did a great job! Constitution! And guess what's in the back? Winners!
Hi, I'm Sadie Albrin. I'm 9 years old. I won Best Emblem. I'm from Alabama. Alabama facts. Alabama has 7 U.S. representatives. Alabama became a state in 1819. Hi, I'm Sadie. This is my mom, and this is my dad, Tony and Aaron. Here we are in Monroeville, Alabama. This is where Harper Lee wrote the To Kill a Mockingbird. Ta-da!
We decided at the beginning of the summer that we wanted to spend the summer teaching our children about the Constitution and freedom and the Federalist Papers and politics in general. And when we saw Janine Turner talking about Constituting America, we got so excited because we knew this was just exactly how we wanted to teach them about it. So we went online and we signed up, and we used it as an opportunity to teach them everything about the Constitution that children should know. And this is how we got to where we are.
This is the hometown of Harper Lee. She wrote the book To Kill a Mockingbird. Ta-da! I like Mrs. Birch because she was my 2nd grade teacher and my favorite teacher.
We are fortunate in this country to have the Constitution. Because of the Constitution, we are able to do whatever we want to do, go wherever we want to go, and be whoever we want to be.
I was inspired because it's a pencil. It reminds me of school and how we can learn about the Constitution. And the eagle, it represents America. And the flag in the background, this is the first flag of the United States of America. Awesome!
Hey, congratulations! Wonderful! Picture. And look, we have a t-shirt for you. I guess what's up in the back? Winner! Yay! Congratulations!
I'm Spencer Kolsak, and I'm 14 years old, and I won the best essay for middle school. I'm from Illinois.
Illinois facts!
Illinois has 19 U.S. representatives. Illinois became a state in 1818. The Illinois state motto is State Sovereignty, National Union. Illinois' population is around 12.7 million. This is my mom, Hillary, and this is my dad, Louis.
I think, like it says in the preamble, it's secure the blessings of liberty. I think that liberty really is a blessing, and it's one that we oftentimes take for granted. There's power in the people, and I think that that's so important, that we don't have, thank God we don't live under a dictator who tells us how we should live our lives, that we have, again, that freedom, and we're blessed with the freedoms that we have. So that's one of the things I want. I want my kids to know the Constitution. I want them to live the Constitution.
This is my grandfather, Bob Pearson.
It's the document that is the bedrock of our country. Without that particular document, I truly believe we wouldn't be what we are today. It's something that countries around the world look to us for what we have here, and I think many times we don't know what we have. And I think it's a shame that increasingly people are losing sight of what the Constitution is, what it means. They quote it, but they don't even know sometimes what they're quoting. And as a result of that, there is a number of problems. And I really believe that the program that Spencer won this prize in is a phenomenal program because it's bringing the youth back to taking a look at what this thing called the Constitution really is and what it really means to the country. So I was very proud of him when he won it.
You know, another cool thing about the Constitution is the amendment process. Our forefathers knew that parts of the Constitution would someday need to be changed. They thought of this. They put in the Constitution a way to do this called the amendment process.
Let's see how much you know about the amendments to the Constitution.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, what is the 13th Amendment?
Slavery shall not exist in the United States.
Correct.
Here's one for you. What is the 19th Amendment?
I know that one. It gives women the right to vote.
Correct.
Here's a tough one. What is the 26th Amendment?
Do any of you know the answer out there? It stipulates that citizens 18 years and older are allowed to vote. Are you 18 yet, Jacob?
No, I'm actually 17, but I'll be able to vote in 2012.
So who says the United States Constitution isn't relevant today? We are living its principles.
It's important that we know our rights.
Yes, or we may lose them and not even know what we had in the first place. Isaac stood over the windowsill, briskly sweeping the shattered pieces of window glass into his hand. A broken shop window left a gaping hole in the building, bordered by shards of glass. The Star of David, that once hung so brilliantly from the window, was now shattered upon the hardwood floor. A glimmering tear ran down Isaac's face. Why are we terrorized by these pogroms? Why can't they leave us alone? Isaac could only remember the fierce words of his father at the last pogrom. This is the last straw. We are moving from Russia to America. The idea of America preoccupied his mind day and night. America. The word rang in his ears like joyful music. Nearly 2 centuries ago, the Founding Fathers gathered together to lay the foundation for a new nation and wrote the Constitution. They built this nation on a foundation of freedom and equality in order to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. The Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution intending to secure liberty for themselves and their descendants. Today, all Americans are those descendants, their posterity. The Founding Fathers wrote it centuries ago in a completely different context. Does that mean it is not relevant today and that it cannot apply to present-day America? Certainly not. The Constitution is our foundation. It forms our government and how we are governed. The Constitution is the bulwark against tyranny. It is a shield of freedom in the hand of the people. In short, the Constitution is America. America beckons. Give me your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
Hey, that was great! Congratulations! Yeah. Start Constituting America. The backside it says, winner! Yay, congratulations!
Hi, my name is Olga Zabashko and I'm 17 years old.
And my name is Carice Hamlet and I'm 16.
We're from New York and we won Best Public Service Announcement. New York Facts! Did you know that New York has 29 U.S. representatives?
And it was the 11th state to enter the Union in 1788.
The population of New York State is 19,254,630 people.
And the state motto is
Excelsior! Meaning ever upward.
Today we're in Central Park at the Alexander Hamilton statue.
The statue was actually donated by his son, John C. Hamilton, in 1880. The statue is made entirely of granite and is extremely rare.
He was our very first Secretary of Treasury.
He actually pushed for the Constitution and the Federalist Papers because he knew that our country was in need of it. This is my mom, Ina.
Well, to me, Constitution in America means something which is stable and not going to be changed every time a new president comes to the country. It's very important to me to know that the law is the law, and you just follow the law and you can sleep at night. And you don't have to be afraid of somebody new come to run the country, change the law, and you don't even know what to follow. You know, I was born in the former Soviet Union, and I went through the Soviet Union collapsing and the country destroyed and Ukraine become an independent country. And we have, at some point, we have a president, so the power leader change every 2 years, every 4 years, and every time the new party would come in place, the new leader would come to run the country, they would change the constitution, they would change the law. So you could wake up one day and you could be simply doing something wrong just because you didn't know what the law is. And that's scary to live like that. Because if you do a little business, if you do a little something on your own, people can always use law against you because nobody really knows what to follow. It doesn't give you freedom.
Do you know what's really cool? The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights gives us the first 10 amendments to our Constitution.
They give us the rights that we live with every single day. We take it for granted that these rights may have been available for all people, but they weren't.
What are they?
Freedom of religion,
freedom to assemble,
freedom to petition,
freedom of the press,
freedom of speech, and that's just the First Amendment.
In the days before our American Revolution, people didn't have these rights.
And that could happen again.
But it won't, because we have our Bill of Rights and our amendments.
Our protection comes from knowing our Constitution.
So when we first heard about the contest, the 917 contest, Constituting America, we were really excited to do an entry, and we thought about what we wanted to do, and we decided to do a public service announcement because we believe it's really important to educate the public and students specifically about the Constitution. So then we thought about the theme, we thought about the question, and the question was, why is it important to know your Constitution?
So to get our ideas for this PSA, we asked ourselves, of course, why is it important to know your Constitution? And we thought, people come to this country and abide to the Constitution just for the freedom that it allows for us. So freedom was definitely going to be one of our key topics that we were going to kind of center the PSA around. And then we thought, if you don't know the Constitution, then what use is the freedom? So we brought knowledge and freedom into it, and we decided to kind of center the whole PSA around those two ideas.
However, we didn't want to just focus on the specifics of the Constitution. We wanted to bring some personal aspects into it and why we were doing the PSA, what inspired us. And what inspired us most was our families. I moved with my family to America from Ukraine when I was about 8 years old, and the opportunities provided to me by this country and by the Constitution are not comparable, unmatched by any other country that I've ever, studied or anything like that. And that is why I added my personal aspect into the PSA.
And like Olga, my parents and my sister are also immigrants coming to New York City in the 80s. And I never hear the end of the importance of knowing your history and knowing about the freedoms that are available here and not available necessarily in other parts of the world. So that's really our inspiration for the PSA.
And that's how we came to our final project.
Freedom of speech, religion, and expression.
Knowing that you can't be censored.
Freedom to bear arms.
Knowing that you can protect yourself.
Freedom to legally defend yourself.
Knowing that you have the right to a fair trial by jury.
Freedom to vote.
Knowing that any citizen can vote regardless of gender or race.
Freedom to representation without corruption.
Knowing that you are represented by the legislative, executive, and judicial branches.
I am freedom.
I am knowledge. One begets the other.
As a black woman, I enjoy the same inalienable rights as every other citizen in this nation. I can vote, I can work, and I can speak my mind.
As a Jewish Ukrainian immigrant, I am living the American dream. The American Constitution provides me with basic rights other countries do not.
We are free
because we know our Constitution. Do you?
shirt says Constituting America. Guess what's on the back? On the back.
Congratulations! Oh my God! Excelsior! Yay!
The Constitution is the conscience of the people. One of my favorite founding fathers, Don Adams, said, "Liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge among the people."
My mom says, liberty cannot be preserved without a general knowledge of the Constitution.
Know your Constitution.
Know your rights.
You are the roots of the branches of government.
Join the We the People
917 contest.
this year.
You gotta do it. I did it and it was awesome.
We are constituting America. Happy Constitution Day!
Happy Constitution Day!
Happy Constitution Day!
Happy Constitution Day.
Happy Constitution Day.
Happy Constitution Day!
Happy Constitution Day.
Happy Constitution Day.
Happy Constitution Day!
Happy Constitution Day.
Oh yeah!
If you want to join the contest this year or blog with me about the Constitution, visit constitutingamerica.org. You could be a winner for 2011 in short film, best song, best essay, best PSA, best drawing, or best poem. See you soon!